right, here we go, I think. And we're live here at the station of decapitation without your head. I'm Nasty Neal.
That would make me terrible, Troy.
I'm Treacherous, Trista.
And we're joined by horror effects makeup artist Julia Hapney. We need a J name.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Hi.
Good to have you back.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, and I love the background as both of us are all.
Thank you.
What's the story with the background? That's your logo.
Yes, I have a company. It's called Abreaction FX. Abreaction means expressing repressed emotion through art. So it's a psychoanalytical term. Basically, I love cats. So I hired one of my friends, Tom Foolery, to create this amazing logo for me, which is my suicide cat.
And it's very cute.
Mm-hmm.
I love it because then you have the cat ears behind you. So it looks,
And Troy's not here for you to do. Neither of us noticed, but Troy noticed right away without even. Very good.
Yep.
So, what's your background in makeup? Like, how did you get involved?
I've been a horror movie fan my whole life. I was diagnosed with Crohn's disease when I was 9, so I was sick and home from school a lot and watched a lot of movies and TV and just fell in love with the genre. As far as makeup goes, when I graduated high school, I went to Marietta College for a couple of years where I was majoring in biology, minoring in chemistry. And I always wanted to be a medical marine biologist and study sharks. But while I was in college, I realized that filmmaking was a job. And I took out a $55,000 loan, moved to California and enrolled in the Los Angeles Film School. And after about, I think like 6 months, I dropped out of film school and enrolled in makeup school because I didn't realize that makeup effects was a job. And so I just never put it together until film school. I was like, wait, the director doesn't do everything? Because in my mind, I just had no idea. And so once I realized it was a job, I was like, there I go. That's for me.
So you mentioned when you're young, you were sick, and then you started watching horror movies. What was it about the horror movies that interested you?
Probably like seeing people like overcome pain and overcome like a problem. Like there's a lot of people talk about how like horror movies can be negative, but on the flip side, they can be so positive. Like just the idea of a final girl. Like this is somebody who goes through everything and comes out on top. She beats all the bad guys and all the monsters. And so kind of like watching that and having that, I guess, drive to survive, like gave me drive to survive. And also mentally, like, you know, if I'm watching a horror movie and I'm fully invested in what's going on, I'm not thinking about my stomach hurting. And so it totally worked for me. My savior.
Yeah. What were some of the ones that really stuck with you at an early age?
The original It with Tim Curry. Basically everything Tim Curry. In my opinion, he is the most absolute actor of all time. Just hands down, no competition. He wins.
What was it about it? Was it
him
primarily, or the whole?
Well, I mean, the whole thing with the kids, because I was 9 and, you know, they're 9. So we were in like the same kind of age group, and just, I don't know. The fact that he can get you if you don't, or he can get you if you believe, and he can half get you if you half believe, and he can't get you if you don't believe. Like, you know, you're like, don't believe. And you're like, oh shit, I believe I might see him. You know, it was just a beautiful, beautiful movie. Yeah. And I showed it to all the kids in the neighborhood. Like we started a movie club. I feel like everybody that went to Belpre with me in Belpre, Ohio, growing up, like they saw it at my house, like every single one of them, 10 times or more.
Were your parents cool with you watching horror movies?
100% cool. If anything, my mom is a super big horror fan. And so the part of the reason I got into it was because that's what she rented.
Oh, nice. Similar to me. Troy and I, mom's a big horror fan. I would try to get her on the show. Hopefully that works out at some point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my mom, the very first drive-thru I went to was Night of the Living Dead, and she took me. And it's kind of funny because she thought it was going to be 3 in the mall. And she was like, oh, it's in this mall. And then we get there. And she's like, this isn't the one I thought it was. And it was like, oh, this is amazing. And I had to have been, I don't know, probably like 4th grade, maybe 5th grade, pretty little. But that was my first drive-in.
I've told this story before on the show. That's the first memory I have at the drive-in and seeing Night of the Living Dead with my mom and my brother. Yeah. I was very young, and the scene, I was kind of upset. And then because I was like 5 or 6, and the car blows up and they start eating everybody, the pickup truck. And my mom said, "Don't worry, it's just a barbecue." And then I was fine.
Love it. Yeah. She's amazing. Your mom and my mom should be friends.
Exactly. I noticed that she commented on the interview. So hello.
Yeah. She's watching at home. Hi, Mom. Thank you for
Very
everything.
How about the other kids' parents? Were they cool with them all watching it and horror movies with you?
Some of them were, some of them were not. If anything, I was reading Stephen King when I was in 4th grade, and my teacher, Mrs. Bartimus, let me read it in the TAG Talented and Gifted program class. And one of the parents complained that, like, why am I reading that book at school? And my mom had to come in. There was like this big thing, and then I wasn't allowed to bring the book to school, only to the TAG class. It had to like stay in that class. And it was Dolores Claiborne, which is probably, you know, one of the really dark, kind of inappropriate ones, but you know, with the rape and all the other stuff. Like I wasn't reading Salem's Lot. I was reading Dolores Claiborne, but it was right when it was coming out, and the movie hadn't come out yet. And so it was like I was reading the book before the movie came out. And I mean, probably the only reason I read it all is because of Stephen King. Like that's what got me reading.
What's the favorite Stephen King book?
Ooh, I mean, probably it, because I've read it so many times. But also like Nightmare and Dreamscapes. I love that. Just like
that's great.
Yeah, the combination books.
I've been reading because I didn't read a lot of them when I was younger, so I've been catching up since I walk a lot. I listen to them on the audiobooks.
Salem's Lot's really good. Needful Things is one of my favorite. I like the movie of Needful Things, but I love the book. The book's so much better.
Yeah, Salem's Lot.
Neal and Gone. He's a great character.
Trista, do you have a question?
Yeah, Julie, I know you're always working on a million things. Is there anything you can tell us about your upcoming projects?
Yes. I have a movie that is supposed to come out, I want to say March, and it's called Bloodthirst, and it was done by the Mahal brothers, shot here locally in Las Vegas. It stars Robert Lasardo and Tara Reid, and I basically turned them both into evil vampires, and it's a vampire movie with lots of blood and lots of vampires. And it's really cool too, because Tara Reid was a vampire in Salem, in the Return to Salem's Lot. And so she was basically saying, you know, like, wow, this is so cool that this is me being a vampire again. And she actually posted on somewhere on social media, like a side-by-side of like the makeup I did on her and the makeup she had when she was a kid. And then I also did her costume for the movie. So if I want to go as Tara Reid's vampire character for Halloween, I have that. Yeah, I'm excited about that for sure.
They make a lot of movies out in Vegas.
Yeah, the Mahals, they do a lot, actually. They're gung-ho, and it's all horror. So can't complain about that at all.
What was the decision to move to Vegas?
I want to buy a house here, and I as much as I love LA and I'll always love LA, I just was done living there. There's some things about LA that just don't make me feel as safe as they did 10 years ago. And now where I live in Las Vegas, I just feel really safe, and I can afford things. My life's like 40% cheaper here.
Oh, really? So
that's great. And then even the space too, like here I have a 2-bed, 2-bath with attached garage. So I can like work in my garage. My second bedroom is a sewing room. So it's just better.
I think most people think of Vegas and they just think of the casinos, and but it's not all.
I mean, technically I was at 2 different casinos yesterday working makeup for events, but I don't normally go to the casinos other than to work for events.
Right. Not playing slots or blackjack or.
I maybe gamble $20 a month, if that, like not a big thing. Like I had a friend that was visiting, and I think, what did I start with? I think I had $100 at the roulette table, but we played roulette like and craps like all night. So, but I had like more money, you know, than I started with. And I like to gamble, but it's not, I wouldn't make it here if I gambled a lot, because it's everywhere. You go to get gas station, it's like gamble here. You go, I mean, everywhere, but it's not really my thing.
Yeah. It was in Chicago too, oddly enough. Chicago had like slot machines everywhere, even like diners and stuff. They have like a little with slot machines.
Grocery store, the gas station, like everywhere. It's crazy. But also we don't pay state income tax. And our roads, you're like driving on the roads and you're like, yeah, this is great. Like, I'm not even going to spill my drink, you know, like versus driving in LA. And it's like, hope I didn't pop my tire. Oh man. Like it's just different. But I also love LA. You know, there's this culture in LA that you're not going to get anywhere else. But since I'm still there working every other week, I get to have that.
Close enough that it's not that far. You can commute. So before we went live, we were talking a little bit about the interview that we did. I think it was last week with the Boulet brothers. So, and I know you're a big fan of the Boulet brothers and the show Dragula. What is it about the show that appeals to you?
I mean, other than everything,
well, other than that,
it's amazing. Like, it's just so inspiring. Like for people that haven't watched the show, like each episode has a challenge. And so you have all of these different contestants and they all come from different backgrounds. And like one might be really good at like making their costume. The other might be like amazing at prosthetics. Victoria Black. I mean, if I have a favorite, we're not going to say any names, but Victoria Black. But everybody's amazing on the show. And like you can see them just grow as an artist. And the reason they're growing as an artist, I feel, is a lot because of what the Boulay brothers are advising them on. And so like they'll say like, oh, I really love this, I didn't like that, this works, that didn't work. And so I'm here like making a costume going, oh wait, shit, I did that, like that's not gonna work, wait, I like that part, I'm gonna add some of that in there. And so it's just unbelievably inspiring. And like Abhora is one of my favorite. Dahlia Black, I love her too. But that's, yeah, I mean, they're all amazing. Like I just love the show. I've probably seen every episode at least 30 times, and I'll literally be like, okay, that was a good episode, I'm going to rewind and rewatch and rewind and rewatch. It's just, they're phenomenal. For anybody that likes horror, like watch it, you'll absolutely love it. It's amazing and inspiring and upbeating and positive, even though they kill everybody off at the end, but we love that. Go Killers.
Yeah, I noticed like the openings and then like the eliminations. They're like mini movies on their own. They could be short films. As much.
Oh, yeah.
I know Troy's been a big fan for a long time.
Yeah, you'll have to go back and watch like the early seasons, Neal, because they have they do that in every episode. So it's and then the first episode of the season, that's when you get the really big production thing going on.
Well, I really like this, the first episode of the season, and I was I didn't expect the to be so gory, the costumes that they make, and yeah, they're really gory.
Oh yeah, some of them are crazy.
Sometimes you see like they'll do like a sexy version of a horror character, and that I always kind of roll my eyes at this. But these are like actually gory versions of the characters. They're very cool.
Yeah, some of them were brilliant too, I think, this year. Like
the Leatherface one,
yeah.
And the Xenomorph, I was like, this is pretty wild.
The one from Coraline, I think, was my favorite. That one just blew my mind.
I like the Leatherface, but yeah.
Yeah, the Leatherface was great too. Actually, they were all really good.
Yeah. Yeah, and I hear through the grapevine that Julia may be making something at some time in the future here that we'll have on the show.
Yeah, I have an idea. I've got to do it. It's on my checklist. Got to check it off.
Came up on the interview, so if people listen, maybe they could take a guess. AH in the chat room, what has been Julie's most challenging FX she has created so far?
Most challenging? Doing the face mount so I did the face mount for Turn Down for What? Like Turn Down for What? That music video. And so I life casted the guy, and then I build up like 6 or 7 different layers of stuff. Like I used like white chocolate Lindell balls for his eyeballs. And then I had a first layer of wax and a second layer of gelatin. And then I burnt it with a heat gun. Technically I had 2 heat guns, but then we kept losing power, so I could only have 1 heat gun. So for like 3 hours, I had the heat gun with the green screen around this prop and not like lower my arm or get it in the frame or get it in anything. And then it was like use both arms and like trying to get it all to melt, because it was like, I want to heat this part, so this part drips, and heat this part, and this part drips. And I had a jaw that I had basically had because you build it from the outside in, so that I had laid in there, and I knew if I can melt it just right, like this jaw's gonna fall off. And everybody was like, all right, like we're done. I'm like, no, we're not done, it's gonna fall. Like I'm gonna get it. And then finally I got it, and everybody cheered, and it was amazing. So that was really hard. I didn't expect it to take that long. I thought it was gonna melt in like an hour. So like at the end of hour 3, I was like, that was tough.
Is that part of the fun though? Just the problem solving, like figuring out like how I'm gonna make this?
Yeah, but when everybody's around and the camera's rolling and everybody's kind of waiting, you're kind of, like, I hope it goes faster. I want it to just go a little faster.
Uh-huh.
I don't want him to cut the effect.
Something like that. Is that something you just like create on the right there, or is this like a technique that's normally used?
No, if anything, I had never done that before. I got like a call from a friend who does art department, and he was basically saying like, hey, are you busy this week? Like we don't have any money. It's super low budget and we need it like tomorrow, or, we need you to come on set and live cast it tomorrow. And I was like, oh yeah, I want to do it. But it's basically, they wanted like the melt like Indiana Jones. And I was like, oh, I want to do that. I want to do that so bad. And my mom happened to be in town, and I basically said like, yeah, I'll do it, but only if I can bring my mom to set. And so mom came to set with me and watched me life cast this guy. And she like videoed me and took pictures of me life casting. And it was super cute.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
AH also wants to know, she believes that you won an award for that. Is that correct?
We were nominated for a bunch of awards. I personally didn't win like a Julia Hapney makeup award on that, but we were like, we got a Grammy. We were nominated for like music video of the year. It has like, I think 1 billion views now. Like it's unbelievable the amount of awards and everything that it won. I mean, it won a bunch. I think the directors, the Daniels, they won a bunch of awards on it. And then art department, I think won a bunch of awards, but it was like everywhere. And like for years, like every bar I would be in or wherever I was, that would come and I'd be like, I did the face melt in this, like, woo, you know, like so excited and pumped. No, this is my song. When I listen to like punk rock and like that's not really my genre. So
yeah, I'm not familiar with the song. I'm gonna look it up after the show.
Oh yeah,
I'm sure you did a perfect rendition of it.
It's crazy. 1 billion views.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. I did notice you did sing an old jingle on your Facebook the other day. Maybe it was like last week.
I don't
It wasn't like a rap song. It was like a jingle from your childhood, but I don't remember.
Log.
Yeah, the Log song. Yes. I was not familiar with this.
You don't know Log from Blammo?
No. She's very disappointed.
Yeah, Ren and Stimpy. Oh man.
I think that's more Troy's.
No, I was a Cartoon Network, not a Nickelodeon person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I like both. You can like both.
Okay. You can. You don't see many people that do, though. Usually you're one or the other. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like if you like The Simpsons or
Family Guy.
Well, I was going to say not with the kids, South Park. Yeah, usually you're either a South Park or a Simpsons person.
I've actually never seen The Simpsons. People don't believe me, but I've actually never seen an episode. I'm not proud of it. I've just never seen it. What?
But you watch South Park.
Yeah, I'm a big South Park
fan. South Park's amazing. Yeah. Team South Park.
Yeah, that's the only game I have on my phone. I have the South Park game. I also have cribbage, but that's because I'm an old man.
I don't know.
JL Discord, which is better, real? Well, I thought they meant real blood, but I think they mean like not practical blood or CGI.
Practical blood.
I don't
CGI.
think they mean real blood. I hope they don't mean real blood. I don't know.
No, practical blood. Otherwise, I'd be out of a job. I'm not very good with computers.
I think that's a no-brainer, though. I mean, even just visually, that's one thing that never looks right. I think that or fire.
Well, with blood, though, like when something bleeds, like it's supposed to get everywhere. You know, it gets messy. Like now you have blood on you. Now you touch that. Now there's blood on them. Like it's a nightmare on set sometimes because it spreads like wildfire. But hey, that gives everybody a job. We get overtime and stuff, cleaning that up, keeping it on point. Yeah. But it doesn't feel right because the actors didn't just get sprayed in the face. So they're reacting as though someone went, and now you just got sprayed in the face versus, and you actually got sprayed in the face. And they're like, oh, it's sticky. It's here. Oh man. Oh,
yeah,
it's
like,
on the wall.
Ooh, yeah.
Trista, exactly. I think that's a good message for the day. Trista, do you have another question?
Julie, we contributed essays to the same book, and I believe yours was about Puppet Master. So can you talk a little bit about Puppet Master and your love of Puppet Master?
I can.
She's come.
So this is Blade. He's my favorite puppet from the Puppet Master series. This is Pinhead. He's another of my favorites from the Puppet Master series.
My two favorites as well.
I've been obsessed with that series since I was, as far as I can remember. I've always been obsessed with dolls and anything like puppet related, like, so that in itself just had me. And then as far as like the music, like there's just this amazing tone to all of the films. And then back in the day when I was originally watching these, it was on VHS and they had like the behind the scenes things with the puppeteers and the effects artists, which looking back on it, like I watched all these videos and then even as a 21-year-old female moving here, I still had no idea that was a job. I don't know how that like disconnected. I guess I thought that like they were the directors. I never like put it in as a job. But as far as the series go and story-wise, like they start off as like the bad guys and then they become the good guys. And then we go back into like, you know, Nazi Germany. And then you figure out like all of these like backstories that are obviously, you know, created to kind of go along with something. Obviously Hitler wasn't really, you know, in a puppet doll. That's But it's the fact that it like touches on all of that. Like as a kid, I was like, wow, this is crazy. And it made me like really interested in like learning more about history and like, wait, what happened? Like, who are these evil bad guys over here? Like these guys are the scum of the fucking earth, you know, like what did they do? Oh God. And there's just something like authentic when people pull from that, kind of like Indiana Jones does the same thing. And like those bad guys, they just feel like even nastier bad guys because they're actual evil people like that existed. And so it's just so utterly disgusting that you're like, oh, it's a different kind of gross. And so like watching them battle these evil bad guys kind of gives a little bit of justice to the world, I think.
Well, what is it about the puppets? Because I always because I think I always collected action figures as a kid, so anytime a movie had, you know, puppets or evil toys of some kind was always really appealing to me.
I mean, I feel like with Blade particularly, like he reminds me of Judge Doom from Roger Rabbit. Like there's just these small things that like you take and it's like, wow, like I have a friend that had that haircut, you have that haircut, so now I want to be your friend. Like as a human, we have these like weird memories ingrained in us that make us like immediately like something or immediately like be scared of something. But with the puppets, like you didn't know if they were going to be a good puppet or a bad puppet because they're both. And then they both flip and they're out to get the bad people. And then you find out the bad people was the good people. There's just so much to it. It's a never ending saga of a story with the amazing little puppets.
Yeah. What is it about Pinhead? I like him too, because he's kind of the big, strong guy, but he's got the little head.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of a lame reason to like him, but that's why I like him.
But the way he moves, like it's really interesting. And like he, you know, they do all the things where
sometimes when he does stuff, he has the
Yeah, the big hands.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, to choke you with.
Have you ever worked with puppets?
I have worked with puppets, not for Puppet Master though. I've
Yeah.
never done a Puppet Master movie. But yeah, I've done puppet stuff.
What kind of puppets did you work on?
A little bit of this, a little bit of that. I'm trying to think of what I've done recently.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess we can start in the beginning. That's probably a little easier. There was a movie called Return of the Killer Shrews. And I was working with a guy named Jeff Farley, amazing effects artist. And he's the one that brought me on. And I helped him fabricate the shrew animatronic. And basically I was like, I want to wear it. I want to do it. And so I have this extremely heavy animatronic on my shoulders. I'm blind. I can't see. I can't breathe. Oh, I can breathe, but I can't see. I can't hear. There's other people that are opping it. My arms are its arms. So I have like these big gloves on and I'm literally like on the ground, like, rah, rah, you know, being the killer shrew. And then while I was working at Creature FX, I did a puppeteer job for a national commercial for Hefty Zoo Pals, where I was Rocky the Rhino, which I was in this like big blue suit thing, like moving around and got residuals on that. So that was pretty cool. That's what got me into SAG.
Oh,
And then when it came time for, what was his name? Now I'm messing up. Okay. So for Arrested Development, Franklin, Job's puppet. Job had the puppet. I think it's Franklin.
I watched it, but I'm not sure the name. Yeah,
he had on like a blue Adidas suit, like it's a little blue Adidas suit, and he was like the drug dealer of the show. But basically, we refabricated him at the shop, and then I ended up taking him with me to a Hoobastank video, and so I like puppeteered him like on stage of a Hoobastank video, and it was like But they had when I worked there, they also did crank anchors, and so we had a bunch of like crank anchor puppets, and so like randomly someone would call and be like, "Hey, we need a puppeteer for the day to come just do a random puppet," and so I would get to do stuff like that. And then recently, in the last, I think I would say right close to before I moved here, I did a thing where it was like a mannequin that kind of came to life, and then I made this tongue and my hand was like in its tongue. I feel like it's over here. One sec. It's literally right here.
we get a good pic. We can get a good view right now of the kit.
So I made this like crazy tongue thing that's like an infected tongue, and then I pushed it out. Hold on, I have it now. So then I pushed it out. Oh yeah. So you can see this is like a little like head thing I made, and she had a wig on. But basically, like I pushed this out like this woman. And like
I love both that and Trista's reaction to this.
Yeah, stuff like that. a lot of that kind of puppeting.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah. It's pretty. But oh, by the way, before I forget, when Trista mentioned the book, what's the name of the book, and where can people get it?
It is called My Favorite Horror Movie. You can get it on Amazon. You can get it. I have a link through my website, which is abreactionfx.com. You can order it, and that takes you directly to Amazon to order it. Or if you happen to see me at a horror convention, I sell them there with autographs. So,
oh, very cool.
More than one way.
Also involved.
And it's an amazing book, amazing. And actually, there's 2 more in the series, so it's a 3
Trilogy
series now. So we're like ultra famous.
Exactly. Stacy Wilson here in the chat room. She says how fun. She wants to see the video. The worm. Christopher Gordon says hello. Myron Cotton says hello, and then a lot of other people we mentioned. Also.
Hi everyone. Yeah. Thank you for coming and watching us.
Yeah, very cool. Good to have you here. So I noticed, is that a decapitated unicorn on your arm?
Yeah, it is.
All right.
And I have another big one back here, crying blood. So I have 2 unicorn tattoos. I like unicorns.
Yeah, well, it's perfect for without your head. I like that you say I love unicorns, and your tattoo is one with its head cut off, and the other one's crying.
Crying blood. It's an evil unicorn crying blood.
I see. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It seems like maybe you don't like unicorns.
No, they're magic. In my mind,
they can never get away that way.
I see. So I don't want to be negative, but you said you were sick as a child. How are you today?
I'm great, actually. If anything, I guess this is where I promote medical marijuana and how it works. That technically I have been in remission since I was 17, and I'm on 0 medications, and I've been on 0 medications for years. I control it with diet, and I use medical marijuana at nighttime, not at work.
That's amazing.
Yeah, highly, highly, highly recommend it.
Very good.
It's what I think saved me.
Happy Hunting, I saw that you directed and wrote. Is that something you would like to continue to do at some point?
I absolutely want to direct. When I moved out here and took out that $55,000 loan to go to film school, I wanted to be a director then, and I still want to direct now. However, I wouldn't want to be like a career director. I just want to direct a couple horror movies. I don't like, by career director, I mean somebody that just directs thing after thing after thing, and they do TV shows and where they jump around, and they just are, those kind of people are just given a script and they just know how to move the people. Where for me, I want it to be more of a passion project where I write something or I co-write something with somebody, and then it's my baby for 5 years, and then I direct it. And so maybe if all goes well, I might direct 3 movies in my whole career, something like that. But I love makeup effects so much. I can never give it up. I look forward to it so much that's my passion.
So when you found out that this was something you could do do as a career, and so you had no background in makeup before that? You just I'm going to try this out. And did you know right away this was something you were good at?
No. No. If anything, so the film school I went to, there was 50 some kids in my class, and I was one of 4 girls. And we had to basically act in each other's projects. Everybody had to be a crew position. And so since I was a girl, I was I'll be hair and makeup. And basically I remember the first time I went to Cinema Secrets and bought this tiny little bottle of blood. And before that, I'd only ever done makeup really for Halloween and stuff, where I'd used strawberry syrup and chocolate syrup concoction. And and every little horror thing or everything that I did in film school, that was my own directing thing, was something horror. And so I started kind of working and playing with a little bit of bloods and going to a makeup store. And then we had to work on people who were a couple grades above us, or I guess semester above us, on their senior thesis projects. And so they had hired this guy, and he came in with 2 buckets of blood and just walked in the room with 2 buckets of blood, literally threw a bucket at somebody, didn't have to clean it up, got paid, and walked out. And I was like, that's a fucking job. Bye guys, I'm out. I'm going to makeup school. And so, yeah, I had no idea what I was in for. And I went to Mud and learning about prosthetics and stuff, and having to have it glued on my face. I was like, oh, I don't know about this. And so you learn that way though. Anything I'm doing to somebody else, I've had done to myself. So basically I can be hey, this is going to suck. This part's going to hurt, but it'll feel better in about an hour. So, I mean, I can speak from experience on that, which is good. But some of the actors, I mean, well, Trista knows, she's been through a lot of prosthetics. Like, it's a freaking job. Like, it's tough. It's hard. It's uncomfortable. Like, it's not going to kill you, but it's hard. It's hard.
When was the moment like you knew like, oh, not only is something I want to do, but now this is something that I think I am good at and I can do it?
Oh, I mean, when I was in makeup school, definitely you're kind of like, side eyeing, like looking around at like what everybody else is doing. And we all kind of started at the same time. And there was like 2 or 3 of us in the class that, so one thing they tell you in makeup school, they're like, okay, so everybody look around, only one of you is going to make it. Everybody else is going to go home. And so everybody's like looking around like, oh, I want it to be me. I want to be the one that makes it. And so that's kind of when you start judging everybody else's work and seeing like, how am I better than them? Are they better than me? But like, I would go home every night and practice on my knees, because like your knee, pull it up, has like a bevel, like a chin, or like a, shoulder. Like if you work on your knee and practice on your knee, you can do anything. And so like we would learn a bruise. And so I would go home and practice bruise all over my knee, all over my knee. And I remember there was this one girl who had like worked at MAC for like 5 years, who was in our class, and like her eyeliner was just like amazing. She was like so good at like really great lines. And when it came time for like the bruising and the cuts and stuff, then I was like, oh yeah, like I've got this, like this is my thing. And so, I mean, it's all about practice. Like the more you practice, the better you are, but you have to have an eye for it. Like I can teach somebody technique, and I can teach somebody like safety and how to apply and remove, but I can't teach somebody to like see it correctly. Like they'll be looking at it and I'm like, yeah, that just looks like a blob of color. And they're like, oh no, it looks just like your blob of color. I'm like, no. And then you have to kind of like pick out for it. But I think just watching movie after movie after movie after movie, like my eyes were like, oh, that's what it's supposed to look like. That's what's scary.
Did getting in the business change how you watch movies? Or it seems like you always watch that in some degree, like how they made things.
Yeah, but I don't think I ever realized like budgets and like how much that made a difference. I mean, the fact that my favorite movies are the Puppet Master series and not, something that's like multi-million-dollar horror movies. Basically, like the story was so good and I was so captivated that my mind didn't notice those things. Where now that I work in film, it's a little harder for me to see past
the film. Yeah.
Yeah. But if the story's good and the actors are good, like I'm in and I can get invested.
You're up here in the chat. I hope I pronounced your name right. Who are your makeup artist influences?
Oh, Tom Savini and all the guys at K&B, hands down. Tom Savini.
Well, you can watch our Tom Savini interview a couple weeks ago. It's pretty cool. Trista, you have another question?
Halloween is upon us. Are you going to dress up this year, Julie?
I don't know. There is a chance that I might be doing somebody's makeup in LA that's like a really big deal. And so if I end up taking that and then I stay for their party, then I'm definitely going to be dressed up. I have no other choice but to dress up. So what will I be? Probably something that doesn't have a lot of like makeup on my face. Like I've done this character where I basically do like burns all up and down my legs and I wear like a really like high cut dress. And then I go as like the queen of hell, as though like I dance in the fire flames. And that one's pretty simple and it's not uncomfortable. So might do something like that. Or I could always go as a bride because I have this amazing wedding dress that I got at a thrift store years ago. And I've just been waiting to like do like a slash throat and just blood all down it. So that's always a chance.
Well, what do you normally, are you normally like working for Halloween or do you normally do things for Halloween?
It depends. Like there's so many years that like I've just said, like, I'm not working the last week of Halloween. Like this is my Christmas and there's like all these parties and like all of these things that are going on. But since coronavirus, like the last 2 years, they haven't really like happened and everything's kind of just a little different. But no, like Halloween is my Christmas. It's my favorite day of the whole year.
What's your favorite Halloween candy?
My favorite Halloween candy?
Yeah.
Oh, probably the little Reese's peanut butter pumpkins, the one that has like a little bit more peanut butter than normal.
Troy's a big fan of the peanut butter.
I like Reese's.
Can't go wrong.
What's your favorite creature or special effect you made for a project?
Ooh,
probably hard to pick your favorite of your own.
Yeah. Gotta drink water and think about this. Creature that I made. I don't know, like creatures. The thing with creatures, it's like it's so much work that goes into it that like, it's like, did I have fun making it or did I have fun watching it on screen? Because sometimes making something is not nearly as fun as watching it on screen. So I have like different recollection of what a favorite is.
All right. Well, what creature would you, if someone asks, like, what can you do for creatures? What would you show them? Like, this here's a good example that you'd be proud of.
I feel like my mind is blanking on different creatures. I mean, like, I feel like I've done so many vampires and like so many werewolves and so many zombies. And then with creature stuff, it's just different. I don't know. I feel like I get hired a lot by other shops to come in and creature tech. So like I worked on Veronica, which is Danzig's movie that came out, and I was hired by VGP FX to come in, and with that we did Albino Spider-Man, and that was like an 8+ hour application. And it's just like creature days are tough, and so like you like it when the job is done, but actually doing it's just tough. It's tough.
What are some of your favorite modern horror movies?
The Purge. I love the whole Purge series. I'm like absolutely obsessed with it. I think that they are hands down phenomenal, and Anarchy is my favorite.
Which one's that? Is that the newest one or?
No, it's the second one. It's the first time they left the house and went outside.
Right. I personally liked them better when they left. The first one's kind of like a home invasion movie, really, and then I kind of like when they expanded.
I saw the second one first, and if anything, like
Okay.
I wasn't that interested in a home invasion movie. And then when it was like on cable, and I saw the Purge Anarchy, and I was like, this is awesome. And I was like, I need to see the first one. And I was like, yeah, the first one's pretty good too, because I liked the second one. But I probably wouldn't have loved it as much had I seen them in actual order. But I also love the series on USA, both seasons. I thought they were amazing.
I didn't watch a second season, but the first one, I really liked it too.
The second season's better than the first one.
I'll have to go back.
You got to watch it.
Yeah. Christian Ackerman. Julie did a dead body she was super proud of in the last movie we did.
Just one?
H wants to know, what was your biggest effect or biggest creature you ever had to make?
Biggest
I guess
creature.
size-wise.
Well, when I worked for Creature Effects, we made a lot of horses. Horses. So I did horses for like Lone Ranger, where I was like doing steaming and patching, and then helped out with some of the hair work and stuff. And then like the War Horse, we revamped it for Steven Spielberg's personal collection. And when it came in, I had to like remove all of the mane and tail and like get out whatever gunk was in that. To this day, I still have no idea what it was. I'm pretty sure it was like Vaseline with some sort of other like petroleum jelly of some craziness, because I tried everything to get it out and like nothing would happen. Oh, one cool thing I got to do. I was working for Rick Lazzarini of the Character Shop, and I got to refabricate the big dog from The Sandlot.
Oh, okay. I'm a big fan of the movie The Sandlot. Yeah.
Yeah. So I got to
had the dog on a hat upstairs, a baseball cap.
Yeah, that was a big thing. That was like one of those moments where I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm doing this. Like the child in me is like, wow, you're cool. This is so cool. So that was fun.
Christian says hello, Trista, as well. And he says it was the dead body in the pool.
Do you want me to show them? I have something right here. Can I pull something up and show that, Christian?
Well, it's probably on like a few second delay, but we'll wait to make sure, we don't want to get anyone in trouble. I'm sure he's going to be all right, but I don't want to speak for the man.
I might have something right here beside me I could just pull up and frame. Be like something like this.
I guess we'll wait here for the. I think you can. You can blame me if he says no.
Wow.
Oh,
wow.
that looks awesome.
I saw this before we went live. I thought it was a chili bowl or something.
Yeah, that's my buddy.
That's awesome.
My date. We cuddle.
It's a nice beard.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's a rugged beard. I like that.
But yeah, stuff like that. I love the gore stuff. Like that's really, I jokingly say the main reason I got into effects is so I can just throw blood at everybody and not have to clean it up. And it's like being the only person at a water gun fight, or being the only person at the water gun fight with a water gun.
No, by the way, he says it's okay.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Oh,
No, Christian Ackerman is one of my favorite people in the entire world. I've worked with him so much. He's an amazing producer, amazing director, amazing writer. Like, he's one of those above the line people that keeps me smiling with, killing them all.
Stacy Wilson says yikes to the I don't think it's not even really a severed head. It's like sliced the
Yeah. Stacy, I'll bring it to the next movie night. It'll be my date. Yeah, Stacy has amazing movie nights at her house. We just watched Halloween Kills last week.
Oh, very good. Very good. What did you think of Halloween Kills?
I loved it. But I want to like every movie. I go into everything like wanting to like it. I don't want to rip it apart, except for the new It. That was the only one that, like, going to that one, I was like, and I'm trying to love it, but it's real hard. It's just not Tim Curry. And he did a great job.
No, I understand. It's like for me going into the remake of Dawn of the Dead, because I love Dawn of the Dead so much. It was like, if it wasn't called Dawn of the Dead, I probably would have liked it more.
Totally. Yeah. But you just fall in love with something. And, like, to me, like, no matter who it was, if it wasn't Tim Curry, like, it wasn't going to be it. It just didn't hit my soft spot.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned the kids in it. Is that your favorite? I guess that's kind of most people's, though. The first half, when it's about the kids. What do you think of the second half?
I like the second half, but it was all about the kids for me. If anything, like, growing up, it would be like, okay, well, I have to leave in 2 hours. And I was like, cool, I'm going to watch the first part of this. And then by the time it's over, I can go do what I want. So I've probably seen the first part like 10 times the amount of times that I've seen the second part. But I've seen that movie like in the thousands, like easy in the thousands.
Yeah. No, I feel the same. The first, I like the second half too, but it is really the kid. Even the book's the same way, though. I think of the strongest part when they're kids.
It's the introducing of everything.
Mm-hmm. To me, that was the big weakness of the new one was there was none of the magical, like, about your imagination of the kid. Like,
yeah,
they didn't have the bicycle. They didn't have the spray, all the stuff.
Yeah, they set themselves up for the second one to kind of fail because of that.
Yeah. The point of the story was they have to get back to being kids and use their imagination to beat Pennywise with all, like, their items they had as kids, but that's not even part of the movie. So
yeah. And why are they in their underwear so much? Like, that was just like, we didn't need that. We didn't need that.
Yeah, especially when it's like, kids, it is.
We didn't need that. It didn't add to the story. It just made me a little uncomfortable. Like, we didn't need that.
Like, I don't want to get on some kind of list watching this.
I don't think that's what would put me on the list. It's probably my Google searches of, like, fucking dead.
Don't incriminate yourself.
Yeah.
But yeah, that didn't do it for me.
Yeah. How do you feel about remakes in general? I wonder.
I like it if it's done right. Like, I feel like it needs to be better. Like, if you're gonna remake something, like, let's make it gorier, like, crazier. Like,
I think either you have to do it better or different.
Yeah. Well, so the new Wrong Turn, like, that one just should have been a new movie. Like, that, like, doesn't even make sense. Like, I was like, this is a cool idea, but it's not Wrong Turn. Mm-hmm. And since I grew up on the border of West Virginia and Ohio, like, I have a special place in my heart for, like, inbred redneck country asshole shit. Yeah. But, like, yeah. So that one, I was, like, excited to see it. And I was like, but there's, like, not even, like, these guys this isn't it. Completely different movie. And yeah, they have, in the original series, what is there, like 5 or 6 of them? Like, at least they all stuck to, like, the same kind of a thing. Where, I don't know, that one wasn't a big fan. No, but I want to like remakes. Like, I want to.
Yeah, I'm not anti-remake either. It's just they're obviously, like everybody says, there's so many of them, and sometimes, but if there wasn't for remakes, we wouldn't have, The Thing, and I like the Blob remake a lot. I probably like the original Blob, and The Fly. There's a lot of good ones. And then there's a multitude of ones that are just kind of, what was the point of making this? But I could say that about just a lot of movies in general.
Mhm. Now I love Feast and The Hunt. Those are like two movies that since I started making movies, I was like, wow, these two just have my full attention. Like this is so like interesting and amazing. And I rewatch those a lot just because it's like exciting and it pumps you up and it's slapstick. It's fun.
The Feast.
Yeah.
Yeah, Feast is great.
I'm a big fan. Yeah, I like the whole trilogy.
Yeah.
They
Whenever-
progressively get very bizarre as the movies go.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm a big fan of John Gulager.
Yeah, Gulager's the man.
Yeah. And Gulager actually.
Yep.
And there's as those movies go on, there's a lot of monster dawn, which is very
Oh yeah. But we kind of saw that coming, you know, like with the face fucking in the first one. You know, we were
right.
Yeah.
we're gonna have a little bit more of that next time.
I think John Gulager, didn't he have like the prosthetic like monster penis? He had that.
Of course he did.
Yep. And then he had that great sleazy laugh where he's like,
He put Henry
Just
Rollins
awesome.
in pink pants.
you gotta love that, right? That's bonus points.
I probably shouldn't say it in case but it was a video interview with it was me, Annabelle, and John Gulager, and I make out with the piranha from Piranha 3D, and we never released it because Annabelle wasn't really into being in the video. But it was pretty cool. But it was back in my drinking days, so it was a little strange. Well, I like John Gulager, and I like his movies, and the Feast.
Yeah, I love him.
Yeah.
Yep.
I would like to see a fourth one at some point.
Did you ever see Ghost Ship?
Oh yeah.
That intro where they like cut everybody in half, like that's one of my favorite
Yeah, that's
intros
the
of
best
all
part.
time.
Yeah.
Yep.
It could have just been that.
Yeah.
So I watched that on repeat, and then the end when it like goes through it all and it starts, I'm like, yeah,
Have it
this is
on a
like dance
loop.
Party. Yeah, it's fantastic. And then she's up there with the hook.
Uh-huh.
I could be her for Halloween.
There you go.
Just walk around with
I
my
like
hook.
it.
That's
Trista, you should be her for Halloween.
There you go. She'll probably be the kitten here behind you.
I'll be what? Oh, her cat.
Yeah.
Yep.
Did you have another question, Trista? I'm just reading the chat here.
Do you have any advice for someone who might aspire to a similar career as yours?
Yes. Watch all the horror movies you can. Really like pause on the death scenes, rewind, pause, watch it, and practice. Get yourself a couple of good friends who have some sort of a hobby that will let them sit very still so that you can practice on them. But if you can't practice on them, practice on a sibling, practice on your kid, practice on your next door neighbor, but it's practice. And nobody starts out good. Like you have to work on it. And the more you work, the better you'll be.
Vinyl Hound 83. I'm with you, Julie. They have to be done well. This is about remakes, and I want to like them. Sorry. And yes, it's Aaron from Purge or P-Bird. I'm not sure.
Oh, P-Bird, Aaron from P-Bird. Yeah, so
Okay.
Purgativert, that's like where I'm from.
Oh, I see.
Hi,
Yeah,
Aaron.
I thought he misspelled Purge, but
We were talking about the Purge.
yeah. And he also agrees that the scene in the ghost ship is the best part.
Oh, it's so good. So me and Aaron were in movie club. Like Aaron watched it how many times at my house? He lived one house away from me growing up. So he knows the passion.
Who was your favorite kid in it?
Jonathan Brandis, Bill.
I think the whole loser club's pretty cool though.
Yeah.
And
But I think
Stephen
I'm a
King has had
Richie
some
guy.
really terrible bullies because there's a theme of really awful bullies. In a lot
Yeah.
Nobody beats Buddy Repperton though. Buddy Repperton's my favorite bully.
Who's that in? Is that in Christine?
Yeah. I'm like,
From Christine, yeah.
Oh.
He's just a consummate bully, you know.
It's been so long since I've watched Christine. I want to go back to that.
All right, that's one you got to go back for. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never read Christine either. Is it?
It's a little different. It's more the car being haunted. There's an actual like ghost in the car. It's one of those that he said that it sounded goofy when he wrote it, and then it got like spookier as it went on as he started to write it.
But I love the movie. I like the use of the music to portray the emotions of the car, which that even sounds goofy, but it totally works in the movie.
Mm.
Vinyl Hound says I was an Eddie Spaghetti guy.
Oh yeah. I mean, coming out of that bathtub, hey, like that was like, woo. Yeah, Eddie had it pretty bad. I think if I had to pick who like totally got it the worst, it was him, hands down.
Yeah.
Like it was, they got him.
You mentioned the pandemic earlier. So the last year, how did that affect your career and what were you up to?
I've actually decided, okay, so I had a lot of downtime, and in the downtime, I was thinking to myself, like, I need to figure out something else other than working in film and TV and music videos and like being on set kind of thing. And so I was trying to think like, what is something that I can come up with that I would enjoy making, that I could maybe like have a product and sell. And so I've actually been working on designing my own doll company. And I don't want to go into too much detail, but basically I have a couple different series that I'm just now starting to actually create them practically. I have like all of my materials and stuff like that. And I have a friend back home named Allie Higgins, and we've been communicating a lot. And she's going to help me kind of bring all this together. She has a background in fashion, and we played dolls together from when we were in like preschool until high school.
That's very exciting.
Yeah.
When when there's more about it, let us know. We'd love to show it on the show here.
Yep. But my mom has sent me like a bunch of my Barbies from back in the day and like a bunch of just like random doll stuff. And so I've really been trying to like spend my free time focusing on that and trying to like really get it together. But I did some research, and like Living Dead dolls, they basically started off at a convention where somebody, made $20 and took them there. And so I'm essentially creating my own series that's not really like theirs at all, but it's, still a horror-esque doll. And so hopefully it takes off, and that's my claim to fame.
That's very cool. Like you said, when you're at a horror convention anyway, about your movies, you can bring them along with you.
Mm-hmm. But I love dolls, and I love like making small stuff and just being able to like sit on my couch and like, sew something together. Like that's just being like more productive in my downtime. And I can still watch all the movies I want while I get that done.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned Dragula is very inspirational when you're watching it. What are some of the other movies or shows that you watch? Not only just enjoy them, but they inspire you.
Are You Afraid of the Dark is probably the number one. I watch Are You Afraid of the Dark every week. Every week for at least 5 hours, I'm watching Are You Afraid of the Dark. Also Tales from the Crypt. Also the Goosebumps series. What's the other one? The Haunting Hour by R.L. Stine. Like, I guess I go back to my childhood and like stuff that I watched growing up because it just brings out the child in me, which is where all the fun is.
Trista, do you have another question?
I'm always curious as to what scares horror creators. So do you have any fears or phobias you feel comfortable sharing with us?
I don't like real blood.
Oh, interesting. They asked that earlier. Yeah.
Yeah, I put Band-Aids on bruises, and I'm like, people will be like, check out this really crazy gash. And I'm like, yeah, that's awesome. I have to prepare myself for it. And like, even like photos and stuff, like, I'm like, okay, I know it's real. Turn off my mind. I'm looking at color and texture. I'm looking at shapes. I'm looking at, pivots and this and that, but I'm not looking at it going, ow, that hurts. And if anything, I think like, because it affects me so much, real blood, I'm like, oh, like, I'll pass out. I'll faint. That kind of helps me scare other people with my fake blood that I know isn't real.
Interesting. So
I try and scare myself every time.
Yeah. So did you see I'm just wondering, like, so when you see blood in a movie, you're totally disassociated with it being real. Like you just know this is a movie, so it doesn't scare you.
No. I get caught up in the movie. Like I'm one of those people that like I'm watching the movie and I'll jump, I'll scream out, like if I can zone out and totally like be in the movie, I'm in the movie. You got me. I'm there. I'm with you for the ride, the whole ride.
So can a really bloody movie mess with you?
Sometimes I turn my head, and that's why I love pause and rewind. I'm like, okay, that was really good. I got to rewatch this, and now I'm going to pay attention.
Yeah.
Like I'm that person.
What would be some of your favorite gore scenes in a movie?
Well, I mean, the ghost opening, like that's amazing. Yeah. There's something about like, the one shot in Rob Zombie House of a Thousand Corpses where it's with the sheriff and he's got the gun to the sheriff's head and then it like comes all the way out.
The sound goes away and they back out. Yeah, I think that's actually the best part. Yeah, the best scene.
Yeah, there's something, it's like that beautifulness of like you're waiting, and then it's just like, oh, it just takes your breath away. Like that's the kind of the ones I like. So it's not, I mean, I like the gore, but it has to be like, I don't know, like I'm not as big into scares as I am for it, like you actually caring about the character and like losing that. Like that to me is really get you. Or oh, if they kill the dog, oof, I'm crying. I'm in tears. Killing the animal, I'm done. I mean, I'm gonna watch it, but I'm like, oh, that guy, he's got to go. Oh,
Yeah, that's me too.
Yeah, and I worked on Zombievers, and
Love that movie.
yeah, so they throw the dog. You know, that guy's like, "Fuck this!" Like, here's the dog. I was like, "What an asshole!" You know, like that kind of stuff. So we got him good.
Yep.
Yeah. Have you done a lot of makeup with like not on animals, but of animals?
I have, yeah. Yeah, I actually, when I was working at Creature FX, I worked on a show called Animal Practice, and so every day I went to work and I did animal costumes. Where basically I would put like an animal in a fat suit, or I would put an animal in like a Halloween costume, or it would be like there was the monkey Crystal who was on the show, and like I made a couple little like things for her. And obviously there was a bunch of people that worked at the shop that also were creating stuff, but I was the on-set rep. So I was there every day dressing the animals. And that was one of my favorite jobs I've ever had in my life. And when the show got canceled, I cried for like 3 days. I was completely inconsolable. Man. I was like, this is my favorite job ever. I didn't even work with people. I just dressed animals all day, and I'm never going to have that again. Yeah. If anything, that's why I got the Bengals. I was like, all right, you guys are going to have to learn to do tricks. I'm going to train you. And then you're going to be the rest of my life. Just taking you all to work. But they didn't agree with that. They're like, no, we'll just stay home and eat cat food. You can work.
Vinyl Hound says, love Zombievers. And wants to know, Julia, what is your favorite bad horror movie? Ones that you watch because it's fun to be bad. Like it's not, it's not good, but you enjoy it.
Probably too many. Dr. Giggles, fucking love Dr. Giggles. Like I just love that movie, and the Ice Cream Man.
I love
those two. I would say, I mean, just super campy. 2001 Maniac, Sullivan movie where he's like throwing severed heads, instead of pies.
Glenn Howard's pretty awesome in Ice Cream Man.
Yeah,
oh, he is. He's perfect.
And Dr. Giggles, I think that's actually it's just a really fun, silly slasher film.
The giant Band-Aid.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yep. Yeah, that always reminded me of kind of Tales from the Crypt kind of thing.
Yeah, like a feature-length Tales from the Crypt.
Yeah. Yep.
And I love Demon Knight. Bordello of Blood was good, but I tend to not like the gratuitous nudity. I don't know. It's just not like my thing. Like I understand that like the girls got to get naked and die, but I felt like the Bordello of Blood was like just all boobs all the time. And
yeah, it wasn't as much fun.
Yeah, but Demon Knight was great.
Yeah, the last time, because I didn't go last year, but the year before, I do a 12-hour. I don't do it. I go to a 12-hour horror movie marathon for Halloween, and it was Demon Knight was one of the movies, and I hadn't seen it for years, and it was we were watching 35 millimeter, and it was I always liked it, but it was a much better movie than I remember it. It was
Billy Zane. Oh, I like fell in love
he's
with
awesome in it. Yeah.
He's dreamy.
In that movie, he's amazing.
Yeah, no, he is good. That's good. Right.
The hands.
Yeah. So where can people follow you to see what you're up to?
I'm on Facebook. It's Julia Hapney, Juli. There's no egg on my Facebook because I go by Julie with an I in real life. Julia's credited. But yeah, I guess through Facebook. I have an Instagram through my company, Ab Reaction Effects. But I don't really know how to use Instagram, so not so active on it, but hoping to be one day.
Yeah, I have it for the show, but I don't know. It doesn't seem like there's a lot of, it's mostly just like you post pictures.
Yeah.
I like silly interaction is more fun for me. I'm more of a Facebook guy.
For sure, same. So yeah, you can find me on Facebook. And I'm not on the Twitter. And I'm not on the
I like
TikTok.
to call it Twitter, though.
Yeah, the Twitter.
I approve of that, yeah. You're on the MySpace still, or the Friends store?
I probably am still on the MySpace.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how to check it. You know, if anybody knows my password, if they could send it my way, that'd be fantastic.
I mentioned this before. The Without Your Head MySpace is there, but I actually tried to log in, but I couldn't figure out how to navigate the website anymore.
Oh, I've tried like probably 10 times in the last like 5 years because somebody somewhere like wrote like, I got in my MySpace, and I was like, wait, you can still get into that?
Yeah, I was curious, like if there's people following it. Like I'm in my mind, I'm like, maybe there's someone messaging me on MySpace. I don't know.
Been trying to get to you for 10 years, Neal. What the hell?
Yeah.
That's how I used to set up the interviews back in the day. Adam Green and stuff. It was all through MySpace. But.
Oh, Hatchet. I love Hatchet, man. Adam Green's good.
Yeah, one of the first when we first started the show, one of our first guests was Adam Green, right? Right before Hatchet was coming out. And now he's too big to talk to us. No.
That's funny.
But no, Hatchet's very cool. He's a really nice guy.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So this has been very fun.
Oh, is it over?
Well, we can keep going. But it's an hour, so I always think it's good.
You're our guest, so you tell us when it's over.
You got to keep doing more shows. So this will make people want to hear part 2 when we have you back.
Yeah, well,
That's true.
definitely come back.
Yeah.
She's like, I got more stuff I want to show.
Yeah. We'll come
Oh, my
back.
shirt.
Oh yeah. Oh, and this was your art.
I
You
love
said.
that.
Yeah. This is for the band Ghost. I'm the creator of the makeup look for this guy, Papa
Oh,
Neal.
very nice.
Very cool.
That looks beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's another thing. I remember seeing Ghost at the conventions before they really took off, and then they become really big. Did the closing song on Halloween Kills?
Yeah, and they got music music artist of the year, new artist of the year, like 2 years ago, I think. But super nice guys, man. Oh, Tobias is such a nice guy, unbelievably kind and just amazing. So support them.
Yeah, you said about doing music videos. Are there any? Where can people find some of the music videos you've done?
I've done music video. I've done so many music videos. I mean, I've done, I think like 8 or 9 with Mastodon. I've done like Metallica, Coheed and Cambria, The Killers, Green Day, Alice in Chains. There's something called IMVDB, which is the International Movie or Music Video Database. IMVDB. It's like IMDb, only IMVDB. And I have like a link on that where you can kind of like see stuff outside of IMDb. But IMDb is definitely the way to catch up and see what I'm doing. But a lot of the music videos go on that too because they're considered short films. But yeah, and I've done quite a few with Ghost. I did the Rats music video. That was a big deal. That was cool.
Oh, no.
It's hard not to dance to that song when it comes on.
So everyone here, they're saying they love the interview, and they want to hear you come back. Christopher says, awesome interview. You guys did a great job. Love Julie. I know her for 30 plus years and still learn a lot about her. So that's amazing.
Oh.
And Vinyl Hound 83 says, please bring Julie back.
Yay. I'd love to come back anytime.
Excellent.
And I don't know what
The next time we're going to do the idea, the one I talked about.
Yeah, I like this. I'm totally into this. A death cab for cutie. I don't know what that means, but
I love Death Cab for Cutie.
Yeah, it's another band, Neal.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
They're good.
I'm an old man. I don't know these things.
I'm older than you. I'm 9 years older than you.
I'm not cool. All right. Well, so the last band I know of is like Smashing Pumpkins or something.
I love Smashing Pumpkins.
Yeah, that's my
Gotta
favorite.
love
That's my
Bullet
favorite.
with butterfly wings.
Yeah. My favorite song is Muzzled, but the whole that's my favorite album though. Melancholy and Infinite Sadness.
That's a good one.
Yes.
I got to hang out with Billy Corgan when I was on tour with Manson. He came to the Chicago show. He was a nice
Oh,
guy.
very nice.
Oh, very
Yeah.
cool. He's a big wrestling guy too. He runs NWA Wrestling.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I think he owns it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Oh,
really
wow.
weird. I'm a big wrestling guy too, so it's cool that the music guy that I like runs a wrestling company. It's very bizarre that he does it.
Oh, I have something that's coming out on Netflix in a couple months called
Okay.
Guardians of Justice.
Oh, that's right.
And it has,
You told me about this to bring it up.
yeah,
Terrible host.
Diamond Dallas Page is in that. We have a wrestler in that.
Oh, very nice.
He's a really good
Yeah,
actor.
so everybody watch that. It should be awesome.
Yeah, and you showed me all the artwork. Like you actually came up with a lot of the looks of the characters.
I did. If anything, once it's released, have me back and let's talk all about it.
Yeah, that sounds very fun.
Yeah, definitely.
And DDP is very cool. He's been on the show many times, and DDP Yoga.
Yeah. That's for him. He
Nah.
taught me how to do the diamond.
There you
thing.
go, the diamond cutter.
Feel the bang. She said. All right. Well, we will talk to you soon. This has been great.
Yay, thank you so much for
Yeah,
having
thank
me.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Julie.
Yay.
Bye. And thanks, Trista, for
Trista, good seeing you again.
Good to see you.
Yeah. All right.
If anything, I'll see Trista soon. I'll bring the blood.
I
Excellent.
love that.
And thanks everyone for watching. It was a really packed chat room tonight.
Awesome.
Yay.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Bye.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Neal, I'll see you tomorrow then.
All right. I'm trying to figure out how to end the.
No, there's no escape.
I'm like, yeah.
the